Hello, my name's Adam Graham. I live in Idaho, and if you're like me, you have gotten a mailbox full of negative campaign flyers from the Tommy Ahlquist campaign and related PACs as they make the case against Mr. Ahlquist opponents, which apparently should make us want to vote for him. And I really am getting tired of it. And I was going to make a video just, explaining what I thought was wrong with Mr. Ahlquist's campaign. But then I realized that's just going to add to the negativity. So I thought I would offer some perspective on one of his opponents, the man I'm supporting for governor, and what I actually know of Raul Labrador. Uh, I first met Raul Labrador back in 2006 when he was first running for the State House of Representatives. I didn't really get too much of an impression of him and really the type of person he was until 2008. There were a lot of new people who got interested and involved in the county central committee here in Ada County, and just really driven, passionate, but not really well experienced people. And there was concern that there was kind of a slate of potential candidates to go to the state convention that were kind of already compiled. And I think some of the motives of the Ada County Central Committee were impugned, and some people were just upset unjustly. But still, a lot of people were elected, and they didn't know how they were going to get around or even be able to fully participate. And then that's when Raul Labrador stepped up, and he stood forward and he offered a reasonable, sensible compromise, which allowed us to get a delegation from our county that was representative of the people there, but it was going to be a fair process where everybody got a chance to participate. And he chose to really ally himself and help people who didn't really have a background in politics and were wanting to get involved in the party. And then I remember him at the state convention where our delegation got up there and joined the other delegations from across the state. And one of the big issue at the 2008 convention was the state party chairmanship. And traditionally, the governor of Idaho can have whoever he wants as chairman. But the chairman of the party had essentially defied the party and what people had voted for regarding the Idaho primaries. And people felt we need a chairman who will actually serve the grassroots and be responsive to us. And so an effort was made to replace that chairman with a new chairman. The big challenge was faced was a lot of the people who had been elected to the state convention felt that we did need a new chairman. But the process that was in place would put every single delegate on the record as to how they were voting, and there were some people, and again, I'll say that this came to me secondhand, that communicated to these state employees that it would not be in the best interest of their careers to defy what the governor wanted. Raul Labrador went to the floor of the state convention and fought to get a secret ballot for the office of chairman so that every single delegate there would be able to cast a vote in accordance with their own conscience without having to fear the political establishment and the consequences to their career if they didn't go along with the governor. And he had to deal with a very powerful person in the state legislature. The chairman of the convention was Bart Davis, a longtime Senate Majority Leader. And when Raul Labrador tried to, introduce this, Davis tried to stop this cold and rule that it was out of order, and Raul Labrador was able to maneuver around Davis. It was just expert. It was gutsy because he was sitting there standing on the side of grassroots people who didn't have experience, who didn't have connection, against the power of the state political establishment. He was there as a freshman state representative running for his second term. This is not how you win friends and influence people. But it was the right thing to do, and Raul Labrador did it. He stood for grassroots activist against the political establishment. And he did it courageously, and he did it intelligently. And as I've seen him in action, I've been impressed by when he is willing to stand up and take a tough stand. He doesn't die on every hill, and thank goodness for that. It's a challenging thing in a legislature if you've got somebody who does that. Forget about it if you're the governor. But when he goes to battle, he stands firm. And he stood in a situation where that didn't make sense for his political career, his political future. There were a lot of people in the party establishment who didn't like him. Even while he was speaking on the floor, he had members of the Ada County Republican Party who were sitting behind him, heckling him. I caught a glimpse of them. I don't know how old they were. They were old enough to know better. But that didn't faze him. He stood firm. He stood on the side of people who didn't have the power, on the side of grassroots folks. And that, I think, is who Raul Labrador is. And so I endorsed him when he ran for Congress in 2010. At the time, I didn't think he had a prayer, but I thought this is just a great person that it would be great if he got elected. And maybe he does good enough that he can come back and run for office at another point. But he surprised me and he surprised the state by defeating the candidate who was backed by the party establishment and the NRCC to go to Congress and to be such a great, well-spoken representative for Idaho. And I do not dislike the person who ran against him, but there has not been a single day that Raul Labrador's been in Congress that I regretted supporting him. I think he would be a great governor for our state, and I hope people will vote for him. Because he's got such a great intellect as well as a great ability to lead and to take on tough fights. He's shown that in Congress. He has not been afraid to challenge party leadership. He has shown great wisdom and great courage, and really has impressed me throughout the time that I've known him. So I think I will take, in terms of who is willing to make tough decisions, who is willing to stand firm, I will take him over Tommy Ahlquist or Brad Little any day of the week. And I think Raul Labrador would be a fantastic governor for our state. And I mean, the way I look at it, if our state doesn't vote for him, it's not that Raul Labrador will have lost out. I think our state will have. So I hope that people will look at that sort of experience and ignore the sort of overblown career politician rhetoric, because that's not who Raul Labrador is. His career has not been built on seeking political safety, but standing firm for what is right. And that's my experience of the man, and I hope that you'll take that perspective with you when you vote. Thanks so much.